Hey there, this is Chad Garber, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to play bar chords on acoustic guitar. Alright, here they are. What is a bar chord anyway? Okay, what does it even mean, bar chord? What the heck? And then why is it, if you look it up, why is it spelled a weird way? Okay, so first of all, what is a bar chord? A bar chord, the whole premise of the whole thing is that you're going to take your pointer finger and you're going to make it act like a capo system. This is a capo. And what you do is you put it on, your guitar frets, like you put it on the 3rd fret, and all of a sudden your chords sound higher. They're higher notes. Like here's a G without the capo. Here's a capo on fret 1, a G with the capo on fret 1, capo, G with the capo fret 2. You get the idea. So you get the idea there, okay? And so what a bar chord is, and that applies to all the chords actually, obviously. If you take the, you have the capo on the 3rd fret, you play the D, it applies to all the chords. All the chords get higher in notes, okay? And so with the idea of a bar chord is you're basically using your pointer finger as that capo and trying to accomplish the same thing. Why it's called a bar chord is because you're going to paint your pointer finger over all the string. Let's just do it on the 5th fret, for instance. Now, if you're new at guitar and if you have an acoustic guitar, this could be a challenging task. And so this is the challenge of a bar chord. But again, that's why it's called a bar, because you're putting your pointer finger, you're barring all the strings using your pointer finger. And then you're going to add some other strings to that. And so it's going to do the same thing. So for instance, you'll play the chords with the other fingers, and you're basically playing the chords with the other fingers, and your pointer finger is doing the bar, is doing the capo. That's why it's called bar chords. Okay, so why is it called bar, B-A-R-R-E chord? I believe that's the French. I think that's the French for bar, B-A-R. And I don't know why it became that, but it's the same thing. It's a bar chord, okay? So with all that out of the way, the first thing you have to do, if you're starting out playing guitar, you're going to have to get your pointer finger strong to do the bar, okay? And so here's what I would recommend. Take your pointer finger, put it over all the frets of the first fret, all the strings of the 1st fret, and then press it down, and do your very best to make and strum through these strings where they're all ringing. I mean, it's not going to sound good because it's not a chord, but they're going to be open. And the way you have to do this, you're going to figure this out pretty quickly. You're going to need help from your thumb. You're going to need a lot of help. You can't really do it like this. Some people play like way up here or whatever. You can't do it. You need to pinch. It's all about pinching, okay? And so you're going to put your thumb pretty much right behind where your pointer finger is on the fret. Well, you put it pretty much in the middle. I put it in the middle of the back of the neck, and I use that as a squeeze. You're kind of squeezing like this. It's not exactly even, but that's the muscle you have to develop. And so you want to squeeze that, and you want to work on making sure you're squeezing every string. And then what you can do is you go to the next one. I'd go all the way up to the 12th fret and make sure you can get them all down. It's even harder up here because I have nowhere to put my thumb. Okay, so it's hard. It's definitely hard to do. Doing this on an electric guitar, depending on the string size, is easier, way easier. But doing it on an acoustic guitar is a lot harder. And also, it depends on what kind of size neck you have. It depends on what kind of string, what size strings you have. The thicker the strings, obviously, the harder it is to do the bar. The higher the action, in other words, the higher the string is off the fretboard, the harder it's going to be to squeeze it or to do that bar chord. So that's just the first step, though. So that's for practice if you're just starting out. Okay, let's take an A. We're going to do an A bar chord, though, okay? Now, first, we want to know the notes of the strings, E and A, to be able to do bar chords, to know which chords are what. So, the E is the E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And then on the A string, it's A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. What those notes are going to be what the bar chord is going to be. That's how you determine what a bar chord is. So if you do a bar chord on the 5th fret of the low E, for instance, that's a what? That's an A. And so that's going to be an A bar chord. That's, in other words, where you're putting your pointer finger over all the strings, that top note or the lower note is what the bar chord, what chord that's going to be. So if you put it on the 5th fret, that's the A, right? And you put your pointer finger over all those. Okay? And then here's the rest of the bar chord, the basic bar chord. And the truth is, this bar chord is from the E. You know, if you do an E regular chord, where you have your pointer finger over the 1st fret of the G, your middle finger over the 2nd fret of the A, and your ring finger over the 2nd fret of the D, and strum that, that's an E. And so it's almost, I mean, I guess you could say it's an E bar chord, even though you're going to, no, well, you don't want to say that. It's going to be an A bar chord, but you're using the shape of the E, okay? The shape of the E. You're basically putting that E right behind your bar. So what you're going to do is, so you got your pointer finger over all the strings of the 5th fret. Take your ring finger, put it on the 7th fret of the A. Take your pinky, put it on the 7th fret of the D. And then take your middle finger and put it on the 6th fret of the G. Now here is a major bar chord. Now that's another thing to realize. There's major bar chords and then there's minor bar chords. Okay, we're going to do the A major first. Okay, so this shape I just told you is going to be the shape of the major bar chords. You strum all the strings. Again, your thumb is right, there pressing. You need your thumb. Okay, that is an A major bar chord, and so you can slide that up all the way from all the way up and down the strings to get the other bar chords. Like if you want to do an F bar chord, for instance, where do you go? You go to the F note on the E string and do the same exact shape. F sharp, G major. All these are majors. G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. I can't get there because there's something in the way. Close. All right, so you get the idea though. So that's what a bar chord is, a major bar chord. Now, and there's bar chords that start from the low, using the root of the low E string, and there's also bar chords that use the root of the low A string. But we're going to just focus on the E right now. Okay, so that was the major. Okay, now a minor bar chord. All you're going to do is you're going to just go back to the A. You're going to put your pointer finger over all the strings of the 5th fret. You're going to take your, just like you did before, you're going to take your ring finger, put it on the 7th fret of the A, and then you're going to take your pinky and put it on the 7th fret of the D, and then you're just going to bar the rest of them, and you're just going to play that. You're not going to, in other words, you take off the middle finger on the 6th fret of the G. You take that thing off, and it becomes minor. So here's major, here's minor. And again, that's up and down the string, F major, F minor. So to summarize that, when you're going from the low E root to do a bar chord, when you have your middle finger there, it's major. If you take it off, it's minor. If you have it, if you have your middle finger 1 fret off of the bar chord or the bar on the G string, that one's major. Take it off, minor. All the way up and down the strings. A major. That's what's kind of beautiful about it. Even if you don't know the specific chords, I mean, you probably do if you know the bar chords, but you can play it somewhere else. You can always play a bar chord to do the chord if you don't know the chord, which, But also what's cool is if you were playing with somebody else and they're doing chords, G, D, C, rather than just repeating it and sound stupid, you go G. We haven't got to the A string yet, but anyway, the point is you can play bar chords over other people playing chords, and it kind of gives you more, so it makes it where you're not just repeating guitar parts. You can actually have a more dynamic and full sound. Okay, so that is off the low string. So what I mean now is if you go to the A string, remember we talked about it being A sharp, B, C, C sharp. Now you do the same thing on the same kind of shape. You put your pointer finger over all the strings except for the low E. Okay, so let's do a D for instance. So you're back on the 5th fret, and you're putting your bar chord over all the strings of the 5th fret except for the low E. You're going to take your ring finger, put it on the 7th fret of the D, and your pinky on the 7th fret of the G. And actually, on this one, it's a little different. You can do it that way, but the better way to do it, and this is even harder. This is going to be hard for you maybe, because it's hard. If you're just beginning, it's kind of hard. Take your pointer finger, put it over all the strings of the 5th fret. Then you're going to take your ring finger, and somehow you're going to push it over all the strings of the 7th fret, except for the A. Again, you need your thumb there, really helping. And you're going to strum everything except for the low E, which you're going to muffle. You don't want to go like this. So I know it's kind of hard if you're just starting out. Don't be discouraged. Just know the information. Then once you get it, you can start practicing it when you got free time. Okay, so that's a major on these one. Okay, but then if you want to do the minor, which is interesting, is the minor chords on the A string coming off the A as a root are the exact same things that the major is on the low E, as the low E is the root. What I mean is, like to do a D minor, take your pointer finger, put it over all the strings of the 5th fret, take your middle finger, put it on the 7th fret of the D, and then your pinky on the 7th fret of the G, and put your pointer finger on the 6th fret of the B. And that's a minor, interestingly. It was major. It was an A major. Slide it down a string, or pull it down one string, and it becomes a minor. So in other words, all the bar chords that come off the A string, as opposed to the E string, you put that is the minor shape. The major shape is what I just told you this. Okay, now another thing you can do, if you don't, let's say you play it just like you're playing the minor chord, right? If you take off your finger, you take off the middle finger, and just play the first, the A, the D, and the G, then that'll be a neutral chord, almost like a power chord. A power chord is just the 2 notes. You can do that if you don't want to do the whole. You can just do a neutral one. Sometimes it's fun to do neutral anyway. And you can do the same thing on the low E. You can put your pointer finger, like for the A, you put your pointer finger over all the strings of the 5th fret. Take your ring finger, put it on the 7th fret of the A, and your ring finger or your pinky on the 7th fret of the D. And then don't put your finger there, and just play those top 3 notes, the E, A, and D. And that's neutral. It's not major or minor. So you don't have to go, well, is it major chord or minor? You just go, yeah, it works. That's kind of the beauty of bar chords in some ways. And it's like a power chord. What a power chord is, again, it's the same thing that you're doing, except just the two notes at the top. And truthfully, a lot of the songs that you hear on the radio are just bar chords, rock songs, that is. Okay, and so that is our bar chords. And again, to practice, I would say just do your best to just figure out how to squeeze it. It's all about the squeeze. This is crucial. This is silver right here. It's all about the squeeze. And here's how it looks, the squeeze. I don't know if you can see it. It's all about that thumb. That thumb has got to be strong. And so that is the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun practicing bar chords.